Little update on the 3.8 liter GT500, the 2020 GT500 that we had in here. It was run on pump 91 for a little bit with a 3.8 liter. Motor is torn apart. It came in, just wasn't feeling that great. Customer stated that it didn't feel that great when he punched it with a 3.8 liter on there and wanted us to do a compression check. So we did, and the compression results were between a high of 124 and a low of 98, which is concerning to me. I mean, 98's low, but 124 is also low. On that compression tester, we've used it for years. Like a Terminator with 8.5 to 1 compression will be at 180 psi, 160 to 180. A Gen 3 12 to 1 compression engine, way over 220. To have a 9.5 to 1 compression engine, a Coyote, at 124 on the highest was concerning. So we decided to scope the two worst cylinders, and here's what we saw. So this is a picture of the scope. There's the piston, and this shadow here is not scratches or anything like that in the cylinder wall. It is compression gases bypassing the ring and staining the cylinder wall. The other cylinder had something that was quite unique, and we're getting that block checked. The Nicosil, it looks to be closer inspection than this shows. It was like spidering. It wasn't that great to look at. So we pulled it apart, and this is what we found. So here's an example. Here's just two cylinders, and then I have one out of the Chili Pepper just as a comparison here. All of the rod bearings showed detonation. We wouldn't find this if the engine was only detonating for a short amount of time. So this, showing it on all 8 cylinders, was a concern. It also hammered the main bearings. So this is the cap side, and the caps we did check to make sure they weren't walking, but this is no good. It was hammering the rods so hard that it was actually hammering the mains. Here's the thrust. One of the mains, the upper, also had smearing like this, which is a concern at that point from either a twisted block or a twisted crankshaft, a bent crank. So that's all getting checked out. The pistons, every single piston, these are cleaned now, but every single piston showed carbon underneath the top ring. In this anti-detonation groove was full of carbon, so you can still see some here. Some of the rings, or some of the pistons, actually had carbon underneath the second ring. The face of the rings on some of them are a little rough. You can't feel it, but it looks rough. This ring here was actually locked up in the piston. It didn't want to spin freely. In fact, it's stuck right there. It should just spin nice and easy, and it's stuck. There we go. Break it free. It just doesn't feel smooth. The rings need to float in the piston, okay? They just need to float and just move and go wherever they got to go, nice and smooth, nothing catching them. So this piston is out of the Chili Pepper at 2,000 horsepower, and honestly, it's not in good shape. Nor are the bearings. We twisted the crankshaft and the block. We were at the drag strip the last time, and going down, I just felt it lose some power, so we tore it down and found this. So we have a compromised piston and pin and ring combo here, and we do see some weird bearing, but this piston was, the crankshaft was twisted, and so was the block. So we're gonna see something funky. But what we don't see is this. We don't see it on the thrust side and a bunch of hammering. So even at 2,000 horsepower, these are the same bearing, by the way. I use Ford bearings on both. Not exactly the same part number, but I use Ford bearings. So at 2,000 horsepower, we're not showing anywhere close to the hammering of a detonating engine at less than half the horsepower. And I say less than half the horsepower because this happened before the Whipple. This car was a stock car on the stock tune before the Whipple, and this was going on then. You wouldn't have carbon buildup if it, over just a few weeks from compromised rings. This was systemic. This engine was definitely going for quite a while. The rings were compromised. They weren't sealing for quite a while. This ring here, the reason why it's sticky is one of the leading causes of engine failures. This was just caught really early. It is micro welding of the ring to the piston. So what micro welding is basically the ring gets stuck in there, it's getting super hot, and it expands and it gets stuck. And then it has to break, it breaks free, and when it does, there's material transfer. There's material transfer of the aluminum to the steel ring and vice versa. So we have a little bit here. Yeah, it's through here. It's probably hard to see in the camera, but it's there. So we have aluminum transfer. These pistons have a hard anodized ringland, specifically to help prevent micro welding of the ring in the piston. If your ring sticks in the piston, you're gonna have a piston that touches down. You're gonna have some serious issues. You're gonna have compression gases going by the ring, etc. Now these rings, and what we do with our engines is we micro shot peen the piston and the rings. Now when you micro shot peen them with the process that we have done, each part now holds oil at a micro level between the other piece of metal. So in other words, you always have oil between two parts. So this ring always had oil between it and the piston. That virtually eliminates micro welding, which whether the micro welding of these rings is what caused the compression gases to go past the rings, this engine was detonating for a good amount of time. And I've seen this before, and I believe it is due to the knock strategy. Since this was running a factory tune on a factory blower system, factory. Why the hell was it knocking, right? Well, if you have an engine that can take 20 degrees on pump 91, and you set up your borderline knock tables at 20 degrees and let your knock sensors add a couple of degrees and remove a couple of degrees, you will more than likely have the engine running in knock all the time. Depending on how your knock sensors are set up, the rates at which they can add and remove, obviously the windows, and the frequency that they're, well, the frequency is going to be correct, but the windows. So let's just say you're cruising up and down grades and you got an engine that can handle 20 degrees and you go down a grade and you're hammering it and knock sensors are happy. So the ECU adds 2 degrees because you're going down a grade, there's less load. You go back up the next hill and it can only handle 18. So now it sees, the knock sensors see knock and it starts pulling timing. So it's running from 18 to 22 degrees and it's constantly going back and forth from, oh, if there's no knock, I'm gonna add timing. If there is knock, I'm gonna remove timing. This is what the end result will be. You'll have an engine that's always running in light knock. Now this is even heavier knock, which our pump gas in California is not as stable as other fuels when it comes to high temperatures. Whether that's what was going on here or not, I'm just speculating. But in the end, this engine was running in knock for a very long amount of time. Our strategy with the knock sensors is essentially if we have an engine that can only handle 20 degrees on pump gas, I'm not going to set the borderline up at 20 degrees. It'll be set up at 17 or 18 degrees, and I'll allow the knock sensors to add it back into 20. But I'm never going to set it at the absolute max that it can handle on pump gas. It doesn't make any sense. I don't want this engine running in knock. I'd rather have it running always advancing the timing. All the knock sensors are always adding. They're never, and ideally max. So on a boosted car, I may only set it so that it can add 1 degree, sometimes 2, and I run a couple of degrees less on the borderline than it can actually, the engine can actually take without knocking. This is a strategy that has worked quite well for us over the years. Are you maximizing the power at every stroke of the cylinder at wide open throttle? No. So how much power are you losing? Let's just say I'm running 2 degrees less, 1 to 2 degrees less at all times than what the engine can actually take on a 700 real wheel horsepower engine. Probably between 3 and 7 horsepower, maybe 9 foot-pounds of torque or something like that. Are you going to notice that? No. Is it going to mean the difference between? No. It's nominal. Okay, it's for safety. On E85, we can run obviously a lot more. So when we get this engine back together, we're going to build it. We're going to put in some Cali's rods, and these pistons are actually, I have some modified versions of these pistons. We've got to do some modifications to them. But honestly, these are really nice forgings. I like these pistons. Aside from possible hot spots because of the deep, this thin spot here, which honestly we have some, this isn't as thin as it is on this. So what we've done is we've cut this back to prevent a possible hot spot at each corner here. And then we treated the piston. Looks good. And we're going to modify the piston internally. See how that has a tapered end? So we've got to cut this to fit the stronger connecting rod from Cali's. Anyways, the customer does want a pump gas tune with this 3.8 liter Whipple. So the strategy will be to limit boost via throttle angle on pump gas. And we're going to do an E85 tune for absolute maximum power, because who the hell gets a 3.8 liter Whipple without wanting a crap ton of power? The block, even if the block is not usable, which we don't believe it is because of that other spidering effect, we're going to check it for straightness to see if he twisted it. And then the crankshaft is obviously getting checked. And if we do have a twisted block or crank, we're going to have to address some ways of strengthening this cylinder block. But aside from that, this is what we found with that engine, which I was not expecting. I was really expecting a broken ring land between the top and the second. It's nice to see that it didn't, but seeing every single cylinder, which makes sense why the compression was low, every single cylinder had compromised rings. The rings were leaking on every single cylinder. So that's where we are with this thing. Hope you guys learned something.